What's happening, folks? Welcome to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the virtual shore. Now, I look a little perturbed on my face here, a little disturbed, if you will. For whatever reason, Blog Talk Radio is not working. I told you guys tonight's show would be dedicated to pure phone calls. Nothing but phone calls. And it's not working. It is not working. Let me show you guys what I'm saying. I'm going to try to create the show again. Live on air in Blog Talk. Let's see. I'm going to cancel this current show. I'm going to delete the one that I have. Give me a second. I am going to delete it completely. I'm going to close out Blog Talk. And I'm going to start it again. And I'm going to let you guys actually hear what it does. But welcome, everybody. Like I said, I wanted you guys to hear this in real time. Give me a second. Also, let me turn the music down a bit. I think it's fine, but there we go. All right, so check this out, guys. I'm going to try to start another Blog Talk show, and you know that's how I take the phone calls. If it doesn't work, man, I guess we'll just make do of it. Let me cut my timer on. I don't understand it. I'm doing what I always do. I go to go live. I adjust the time. You have to put in the title, which I just use a miscellaneous title. And I'm going to type something in the description. It's going to give me a go live button. And you guys are going to hear it. I'm going to dial it. You guys are going to hear it. It's going to say, please press 1 to start your show. So let me let you guys hear that. Y'all hear that little dialing in the background. I just want to show you guys that I'm not crazy. This is so annoying, man.
Your show now, press 1.
You hear that,
to hear
right?
Important instructions, press 2.
You said to start your show now, press 1. Watch what happens when I press 1. Watch.
There are no shows scheduled within the next 24 hours. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Let's do it one more time. Listen carefully. It doesn't want us to talk, man.
Start your show now, press 1. To hear important instructions, press 2.
Just for kicks, let's listen to important instructions.
Your show will begin automatically at your scheduled show time. You will hear the BTR jingle, Blog Talk Radio, when you are on air.
To start your show now, press 1. To hear important instructions, press 2.
Press 1.
There are no shows scheduled within the next 24 hours. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Y'all see that? All right, so I guess it doesn't want us to talk. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to chat it up here in the chat. I will try the phone queue again in 10 minutes. I don't know what's happening, guys. So like I said, hey, I'm going to say my apologies, but it's not my fault. It's not allowing us to take the phone call. So welcome to everybody, man. Let's say hello to the early commenters. Mr. ABS is in the building. Hello, Miss Lanisha. How you doing this evening? Always got to say hello to our lovely ladies, man. Make sure you guys take time to say hello. Vista Light, James Tresvant, Joshua Shields, Amon Bozeman, Brent Fox. And as I see you guys who pay for the show, man, my apologies, man. I just realized I haven't shown any custom content here lately, you know, for members only. I got some content coming for you guys, man. You know, still got some things to look at from our previous games that you guys might want to see, but I got some content coming to you guys, so you know, stay tuned for that. Kev So Fun is in here. Jersey Boy, father-in-law Leonard is in the building. Black Thanos. Who else we got up in here? My good buddy Kenyon in the building. What up, brother? Carmichael, the sports guru, Jeremy Johnson, Bettsburgh, Still Medic. Hello, Miss Debbie in the building. Always love when Debbie's in the building, man. And all our lovely ladies. But Debbie, Lanisha, they some of the OGs, so we always got to take our time to say what's up to them. So, all right, guys, like I said, I'm going to try it again in 10 minutes, man. Hopefully the Blog Talk Radio will work so I can accept phone calls. But for now, let's just chat it up. I don't really have a topic. I was relying on you guys. I was hoping that you all would come through and, bless us with your voice over the phone. It's not working. I don't know what the deal is with that. So we'll just have to do it here in the chat. Really, the only thing I'm going to talk about, and guys, whatever you want me to talk about, whatever you want me to address, highlight it in the chat, and I'll get to it, and we'll try the phone again in about 10 minutes. Hello, Miss Angie, a.k.a. Baby Stiller. Make sure you guys say hello to another lovely lady in the chat. Do that, guys. Be gentlemen and say hello to the ladies. Only thing I got for tonight, just to remind you guys, still table discussion happening next week with myself and Kenyon and Tony, if Tony is available. If not, it will be myself and Kenyon. And then also be on the lookout for the SteelerNation ladies, the ladies of the chat. They would like to come on as well and chop it up and talk about some things. So the ladies still table will be happening very soon as well. I'm sure Debbie will be getting back to me shortly with that because, she's already reached out. Quick sip of water here, guys. Feeling a bit under the weather. Not really feeling bad, but throat is a little itchy. Got a slight cough. I've taken a COVID test. It's negative. To be safe, maybe I'll take another one tomorrow or the next day. So you may just see me sip some water. I think it's just the cold weather, man. You guys know my wife and I and my son, we are grateful and thankful that Leonard and mother-in-law allow us to stay here while our home is being built. But long story short, it's a little cold in the basement. So, how sometimes it's like when you leave the air open, leave the door open or the fan on and you get that little, wake up with that little raspiness in your throat. Felt that this morning. But like I said, given the climate that we're in, we always got to make sure that's all it is. So I say all that to say my voice sounds a little funny, as you guys probably can tell. And I'll be sipping some water here and there. First thing I want to get into, man, listen. I definitely want to hear you guys' thoughts on Matt Canada currently being retained. I know a lot of people were expecting the news to break on Monday. But also we're learning that Mike Tomlin is dealing with, some type of personal issue, outside of football or what have you. And they said it will delay decisions on coaches and such. We shall see. I'm not going to put that much stock into that because I've told you guys where I stand. Matt Canada is under contract through 2023. It is my belief that he will not be fired, not because I don't believe in Mike Tomlin, not because I believe in Mike Tomlin. It has nothing to do with Mike Tomlin as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, it's an organizational thing. They don't fire coaches. I posed that question out there on Twitter, and some people, came back with a few challenges. One person said, well, what about the offensive line coach a few years ago? They're talking about Adrian Clem. He was not fired. Tomlin allowed him to go to his other opportunity at Oregon. And then someone brought up somebody else from way back, like 98. And then I saw people in Twitter disputing that as well. Because my question was, when is the last time you've seen the Steeler organization fire a coach or a position coach? And if you can only come up with a possible one in the last however many years, that just goes to show you that it's an organizational thing. Excuse me. Mike Tomlin has not been the coach the entire time, during that duration. So we're talking Tomlin, Cowher, maybe as far back as no, even though I don't know. But as far as I remember, the organization doesn't really fire coaches. And if they've done it, it's few and far in between. So that's the reason why I'm not putting the decision-making on Tomlin. Until we get concrete evidence where they say he had full autonomy to do that. Okay. But again, I feel like it's the organization. I do. Now, let's play the other side of it. What if it is Tomlin's decision? As much as I want Matt Canada to go as well, I can understand why they may retain him for another season. Let me explain. Kenny Pickett. To keep Kenny Pickett from having to learn another offense in his second year as he continues to mature. The offense picked up steam in the second half of the season. We did not score points. But we started doing what we like to do, running the football, converting on third downs, not turning the ball over as much. Kenny Pickett did a good job with fixing that problem. And the Steelers started to win games with the grind-out football style along with defense. So that could be a reason why, if let's say it's Mike Tomlin's decision, that they keep Matt Canada. Again, I'm not endorsing it at all. I'm just trying to figure this out from an organization standpoint, in which I don't think they're going to fire anybody, and from a coach's decision. So however it goes, I can see a reason why Matt Canada remains. Now, if Matt Canada is let go, guess what? And I throw that round of applause, I would be ecstatic, only because I would like to see something new. I'm not applauding Matt Canada losing his job. I'm never the type of person that applauds anyone's job being lost. But listen, like I said, I'm fair across the board. Matt Canada showed improvement in his play calling. I documented it throughout the year. Even before we were really starting to win as much, I was telling you guys, play calling is getting better in terms of like route combinations and things like that. He's still a little suspect at times with situational play calling. But the offense started to click a little more. We started to run the football, and there you have it. He started to call better games. So would I rather see a more dynamic offensive coordinator? Absolutely. Utilizing the talent more? Absolutely. But we're just going to have to wait and see, and that's just how that cookie crumbles. I'm not going to sit here and expect him to be fired under the circumstances. That's just where I sit. That's where I sit. What do you guys have, man? Give me a couple thoughts in the comments, man. And then again, like I said, we'll definitely try the phone queue again. But that's really all I got. I have no real news to talk about other than SteelerNation. Can we sometimes just lick our wounds and take it for what it is? I knew I was going to see it all weekend, especially during the game with the Dolphins and the Bills. So many people out there, oh gosh, if it was us, we would win this game. And guys, I know it was in your hearts. I know the Steelers went 7-2 in the second half. That is very commendable. Tomlin finished with another winning season. That's very commendable, given the fact that the Steelers was once 2-6 and at another point 3-7. However, I never lost sight of the team that we had. I never lost sight of that. I never lost sight at the fact that the Steelers averaged, I want to say, what was it? Where did they finish? Like 17 points or something per game? I didn't lose sight of that. Now, can you win games by maintaining possession, grinding it out, running the football? Sure. But does anybody think we were going to completely shut out the Buffalo Bills and hold them under 25 points, 20 points? I don't. Was our defense starting to play great? Sure they were. But come on, man. Come on. Josh Allen and them was going to find a way at some point. Now, I know what you say. You get in the tournament, anything can happen. You're right. I'm just using an educated guess, if you will, as an educated speculation that the Steelers would not have gone to Buffalo and won that game. Could they have? Maybe. But I'm not going to sit here and say it on Twitter while the game is going on and say it with my chest out in confidence. No. What evidence? Honestly, what evidence did any of you guys have to think that we were going to win that game had we got in? And people always say, well, look at what the Dolphins did, and they almost beat them. And that, okay, it's a divisional opponent. Y'all know how that works. So just take it for what it is, guys. This was not the Steelers' year. This was clearly a rebuilding year, a year for us to see if we got something in the rookie quarterback and what he might be able to bring in year 2, as well as the other young rookie talent around him. And that's what it was. And to see the team rally the way they did down the stretch, it was good to see. It was good to see. But I think some of you guys really be speaking from your heart and not really thinking it out. It's really fan bias at some point. All right, let's try it again. Let's try the phone queue again. I see my man, Mr. Winningham, is in here, and he's usually a guy that likes to call. So I'm gonna try it again. You guys are gonna hear it. It'd be nice if it lets us in, man. Let's see. But I think it's gonna be stubborn.
Your show now, press 1. To hear important
All right, it says
instructions,
to start your
press
show
2.
now, press 1.
There are no shows scheduled within the next 24 hours.
There it is.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
It keeps telling me there are no shows scheduled. All right, let's try it again. I'm going to try a different route and see if it works. Hold on. Give me a second. Let's see what happens if I schedule the show and then start it. All right, give me a second. All right, create. How do you want to broadcast? I want to broadcast right now. It's asking me, go live now or schedule? I would like to go live right now. But just for fun, let's see what happens if we schedule it. I'm going to schedule it. I'm going to put a future time in there. Let's see what happens. Maybe that option will work. Let's see. And if that option works, there's no reason that works. If you understand what I'm saying. Why wouldn't the go live work? So let's see, guys. Let's see what it does. All right, we're going to create episode. I'm going to go into the studio. I'm going to try to start the show right now and just see what it says.
Your show now, press 1. To hear.
There are no shows scheduled within the next 24 hours.
I get the same
Thank
message.
you for using Blog Talk Radio.
All right, so phone calls are not going to work tonight. I always say this to my wife, man. I love technology until it doesn't work. Sometimes I don't understand why stuff like this doesn't work. So, all right. I guess no phone calls tonight. Sorry about that, guys. That's what this show is supposed to be about. So, we're going to have to try to make it happen in the comments. So, what do y'all got? Fire away, man. I'll spend some time in here. Why Diggy says, with this whole Steelers not firing people, I'm not saying they need to fire folks, but the definition of insanity is repeating the same thing and expecting a different result. Do not disagree with you at all, Why Diggy. I don't. And I know Why Diggy doesn't think this way, but a lot of others that I, converse with on Twitter and all of that, is some people seem to think that when you give your thoughts on the organization that it represents what you want and what you feel. Like I said, I know that Why Diggy doesn't. But his comment gives me the opportunity to remind people that, like, it's not what I want to do or want them to do. I'm only speaking from watching the team and how they move. But I fully agree with Why Diggy. I would love to see the Steelers do some things differently. Maybe not so much firing and go fire crazy like other organizations, like, of course, obviously at the head coach level. But coordinator-wise, this is where I don't see a problem with it. Matt Canada had been Roethlisberger, right? We were told, when we all expected, not even told, but we all pretty much knew that he couldn't run the same exact offense that maybe we saw glimpses from in his college days with Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger, for one, was an 18, 17-year vet, whatever it was, going into his last season, right? he's stuck in his ways. He's going to do the stuff that works. He's going to do the Ben stuff, and he earned that right. But then also, you're not going to completely change everything you do for a veteran quarterback like that in his last season. But also, he's not mobile. So I don't think, any non-genius could have known that, okay, some things they're not going to do. They can't do with Ben. As much play action, as much sprint outs, and getting guys out of the pocket. You weren't going to do as much of that with Ben. Okay, cool. So then we said, okay, let's see what he does when he has a mobile quarterback. This year he had Mitch Trubisky to start off with, and then obviously Kenny Pickett. We didn't see much different. And that is the issue. So I wouldn't be opposed of the organization saying, you know what, we're going to part ways. Let's just do it early. We didn't see any real changes in year 2. And there you have it. So, I just don't think they're going to do it. That's my only problem. My only my drawback is they're just not going to do it. I just don't see it happening. Mr. ABS says, Kevin Dotson dropped some valuable inside info stating how Canada first year was a wash, basically a wash because of Ben's stature, and he was a coach on the field. So throw away that year to evaluate Canada. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's kind of what I just said. We know Ben was running the show, but this past year, again, the offense looked very similar. The key things that were different, obviously, were, again, and I noticed this early in preseason, way more play action, way more rollouts, also a lot of sprint outs. One time we were running sprint outs like, running them into the ground. It was times where I'm like, all right, come on, let's get up off of that because, you're taking one side of the field away and come on. You're not mixing it up at all. What I also wanted to see us do a little more is what we kind of saw Dak Prescott do last night on one of those possessions. What about running some straight boots? Naked boots, and you fake it this way and you just boot the quarterback out around the side for a touchdown, for a first down. We didn't really see a lot of that. But only what we did see, like I said, is play action fakes, sprint outs, quarterback sneaks. Outside of that, there wasn't a ton different. The running game was a little bit different again because we ran more of a zone blocking scheme under Pat Meyer. But just creativity, we didn't see a lot. We saw a little bit. Like some of those jet sweeps that included, Jaylen Warren later in the season and getting Derek Watt involved, things like that. But again, largely we just didn't see a much different approach. So, I think it's fair how we're evaluating them on this season. Sippy Boy says it's the players' fault that Canada will be back. They muddied up the situation. We can't tell if they ran the same plays over and over because he's not creative or the players didn't know the book. That's a fair assessment. Also, later in the season, let's say the last 5 weeks, was it an execution thing? And that's where it makes it difficult again, man. If I'm just thinking about the Steelers definitely turned things around in the second half of the season. I still don't think the offense produced enough in terms of points, but it definitely makes it a little more tricky, man, to evaluate things, seeing how the team actually finished. James Tresvant says, to be honest, last year was really his first year. New offensive line, which is the foundation of the offense, plus both quarterbacks for the first year. That's why they got better. Yeah, that's fair assessment. I got a question for you guys real quick, man. I keep seeing it in the chat. Do you guys really think the Steelers are going to draft Jordan Addison in the first round? That's a real question. A lot of y'all keep tossing that out there. But more of my question is, that's not the Steelers' biggest need right now. And it doesn't make sense to grab him unless you're talking about moving a Deontay Johnson. Now, that's what some people are saying. But now you're talking about, is Deontay Johnson going to be traded? Can he be traded? Is there someone that's going to play? Is somebody in that sweepstakes? And where's the guarantee that you get Jordan Addison? That's the thing that cracks me up about some of you guys as fans. Y'all always identify the guy that the Steelers must get in the draft, but nobody can determine how the draft is going to unfold. There are no guarantees in the NFL draft. So how can you be so sure that they're going to be able to draft Addison? I don't get it. I don't, again, it's all love, guys. We're all family, but sometimes it cracks me up at some of the ways that some of you guys view it. Again, it's the phrase that I came up with, highlight watchers. It's not a disrespect. It's literally, that's how general fans are typically highlight watchers. And all that means is that you don't look at all of the details and the ins and outs and the business side of things and scheme and all of that minutia type of stuff. So a lot of times you just say, oh, get this guy, he'll be great, get that guy. I don't see it, man. Like I said, that's not the Steelers' biggest need, in my opinion. Addison is clearly going to be one of those kids that's probably going in the first round. Y'all think about this. Here's the other thing you got to think about. You saw how receivers started flying off the board last year in this past draft, right? It was a run on receivers. They was going back to back to back. So I'm saying, don't expect the Steelers to be in the position to get him unless you're telling them to draft him in the first round. Because if the Steelers are going to get him, I think it has to be done in the first round. Or, if you're thinking he's going to last all the way until, the 32nd overall pick, which the Steelers have now. But I just don't see it. A lot of you guys are saying no. Debbie says no. Stillmatic says no. Desmond says middle linebacker. What else y'all got? Tyrone Johnson says, Johnson, no touchdowns is a problem. Big plays have been gone since AB. I'm not sure, just hoping. All right. I love you guys in the chat because it brings up very good conversations. Let's talk about Tyrone Johnson's point, and I want to see how you guys feel about it. Why do you guys think, or what do you think is the reason why Deontay Johnson didn't have any touchdowns? I want to see how you guys answer that. And the fact that Deontay Johnson didn't have any touchdowns this year, is that an indictment on his skill? Another component I would add to that, there was at least, I can recall there's like 2 times that Deontay Johnson had an opportunity to score. Remember that one? It might have been against the Jets or somebody like that. In the back of the end zone, he just barely couldn't get his second foot down. There was another one that was a drop. But outside of that, there wasn't many opportunities for Deontay Johnson to get the ball and score a touchdown. Y'all remember when George Pickens didn't have any touchdowns either? And if you look at the touchdowns that George Pickens got, a lot of them, how did he get them? Down the seam. Some of them was just him being him. But, you would think that some teams was taking Deontay Johnson away. Also, you got these 2 quarterbacks that are developing. It's funny I say developing, but Trubisky was developing in our offense. But then you got Kenny Pickett, who didn't come on until later. So again, I want to see how you guys answer that. Is that any indictment on Deontay Johnson's skill? Let me see what y'all got. Because I don't want to always be the one giving my opinion. Why Diggy said he dropped a couple of them. He did. He dropped at least two, maybe 3 if I remember. Mark Malone says he can't break a tackle or outrun anyone. Okay. Brian Williams says QB play. Champagne the Don says Kenny Pickett loves throwing to tight ends and Pickens. The Real Deal says unlucky. Jersey Boy says Kenny misses lots of open receivers. Okay. Debbie says Sim switched up the question, but many times Johnson was not the option on the play. Debbie got one of these guys. As a matter of fact, she got two of them. Debbie, boy. Debbie used them eyes, man. She does. She definitely does. Let me see what else y'all got. He said, Tyrone says he had the I Miss Big Ben blues. Okay, maybe. Hi. Dark Storm says the offense in general didn't score many touchdowns. Bingo. Just bad luck for Deontay Johnson. That's all I'm saying, man. Listen, I don't think, again, and Tyrone or any of you guys who are saying this, again, the comment is not a negative comment. But again, I think a lot of people fall into the highlight watcher category. Meaning, you look at the stat sheet and it says he didn't have any touchdowns. And that's just that. What? He didn't have any touchdowns. Oh, man, he's trying. And that's just how some people view it. But that doesn't tell the story. You know what I'm saying? So, and yeah, he did drop a couple. Like I said, if I remember correctly, Deontay dropped at least 2 in the end zone. But again, that's still only 2 touchdowns. And if he had 2 touchdowns on the season, nobody still wouldn't be saying, y'all still wouldn't say he did good. So that ain't enough. If you're telling me he dropped 13 touchdowns, now we talking. Steeler Spartan says the Matt Canada offense is just too predictable. Never going to have enough talent to overcome the simplicity. Woo. Yep. That is a big problem with Matt Canada. And I would say specifically in situational football time, he got very predictable and very, very simplistic. And that is the reason, my friends, why the Steelers just didn't put up a lot of points, convert a lot. It's how the cookie crumble. Woo, Hunter Johnson says 19 touchdowns on the year. Not good. Not good at all. Not good at all. Mr. ABS says, for Johnson, I honestly believe the Steelers didn't want to put Pickens out there too soon and were trying to justify making him the number 1. Force phase to Johnson in the red zone is not ideal to me. Okay, I can go along with that. Hunter Johnson says he converted a lot of critical downs when needed and outside of touchdowns. He did. That's what I'm saying. Listen, Deontay Johnson is by far the best route runner on the team, and very close to being one of the best route runners in the NFL. As far as creating separation and all that, give me that. I have no problem with Deontay. I have no problem with a Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, and whoever else we're going to put out there with him. Imagine this. Can we get Calvin Austin? Can he come back healthy? And you got them 3 cats out there in skill positions and 11 personnel with Austin speed, where you can still do what they did sometime this year and move Pickens inside, put Austin, even at a small stature, with that speed, put him on the outside at the Z with Deontay at the X. Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that. I hope Calvin Austin comes back with something to prove, because we're forgetting about him. I'll take that. Now, again, if the Steelers were to trade a Deontay Johnson and they feel like they could get a replacement, okay, but pump your brakes on that. Again, there's more to receiving than just touchdown. Deontay Johnson is a phenomenal route runner, and the separation that he creates is almost unmatched. So imagine him getting back on the same page or sticking to the same page as Kenny in his second season. Come on, man. Come on, guys. Don't be so quick to push good talent out the door. Now, Deontay definitely got to continue to work on these. Okay, and it's funny because his drop percentage ain't even that high. It's just we're used to him, say 2 years ago, having drops, cleaned it up last season, and still had a few drops that we noticed. And then this past season, cleaned it up, but had a few drops that we noticed. But when you look at him in comparison to some of the other guys, it's not that high. It's just that they stand out a lot because we know in his first few seasons, he had some drop issues. That's fair, right? It's like the first impression. It's always going to live with you. But don't be so quick to throw that man out with the bathwater. I'm just saying. What else y'all got? Yeah, I saw that they did re-sign Anthony Miller. So it's going to be a very intriguing and interesting camp, I think. You know, when it comes to at least those guys battling for the number 3, 4, and 5 position at wide receiver. Carmichael says I wouldn't trade DJ. I'd keep all 3. Now we talk. That's how I feel too. All right, what else y'all got, man? Let's spend a little more time here. I'm so sorry, and I definitely dearly apologize, guys, that we couldn't make the phone calls happen tonight, man. It's not my fault, but I'll take ownership because you expect that on my show. But, you know, Blog Talk sticking it to us tonight. I'm really upset about that because I want a show, and we got plenty of time to do it in the off season, but I want to start mixing in some shows where it's just calls. It's just SteelerNation. You know, even in my title, I wrote SteelerNation sounding off about Matt Canada, and I wanted to hear it. Carlos Burgo says, hey, Sim, that whole rumor about Byron Leftwich becoming OC, I don't know about it. Would his scheme even fit for Kenny and how the offense is built? You know, those rumors always start to fly, man. As soon as you know, he played in Pittsburgh, yada, yada, yada. You know how it goes. Looking at Tampa Bay's scheme and how they've schemed Tom Brady, I'm not willing to sit here today and say that would be best for Kenny Pickett. Just how I sit here today, you know, and I don't know what Kenny Pickett's ceiling is, but I kind of like, y'all might laugh at this, but I kind of like the system that we are running for Kenny, but with a little more creativity. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I like some of the quick decisions. I like the sprint outs. I like the play action. You know, I like getting Kenny on the move. I like some of the stuff that Canada brought to the table with Kenny. It just needs to be more dynamic. More dynamic. I mean, even, you know, you look at some of the stuff that even Kellen Moore is doing with Dak, you know, and how they kept, they kept that game, that balanced attack last night like that. Get us back into some more of that. And like I said, man, you know, it's creative doesn't necessarily mean something you've never seen. But again, how they get the teams thinking one thing, and that one touchdown with Dak, you know, you get everybody slanting this way, you fake the handoff, you naked boot out the backside. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Stuff like that. But I actually like, you know, the style of offense that Kenny ran this year it was just a little too simplistic at times. Just a little too simplistic at times. And yeah, somebody in here mentioning the 49ers. Oh my goodness. That style offense. And let me just say this too. And this is not a slight to Brock Purdy, but I have to say this. So many highlight watchers, man, watch football. I keep seeing so many people say how good Brock Purdy is, and this kid is a monster. I even saw this. The Steelers could have got him, and they could have drafted Mr. Irrelevant, and blah 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 blah, and people saying that Trey Lance is never gonna play again. Are y'all really watching why he's so successful? Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not taking anything away from Purdy. Purdy seems like a baller. You know, he's competitive. He's engaged, but dog, please watch the games. Look at them play calls. Look at the scheme. Look at how many times there is nobody within 10 to 15 yards of the intended receiver. I mean, they getting dudes butt naked open out there in that offense. Ayuk, Kittle, like these dudes open. I mean, the way they scheming these dudes open, I think I could get off of my couch right now and go get me a first down out there. Open. Perfect play call. They're keeping it simple for Purdy. Purdy is not even being asked to push the ball down the field that often. They're keeping it simple. So again, that's not a knock on him, but so many people have come to me and said, see, Purdy, he's better than Pickett. I'm like, dog, put Kenny in that system. I think he could do the same thing. I'm not comparing the two players. I'm just saying, I think he could do the same thing. Matter of fact, for people thinking that, now again, this could happen, but for people thinking that Purdy, like, could keep Trey Lance off the field, from a talent perspective, dog, can y'all imagine the threat that Trey Lance can be in that system? Think about that for a moment. Again, this is not a comparison of QBs. I'm just saying, I'm looking at how Shanahan is running that offense. They're keeping it very simple for Purdy to make him successful. That's what you do with a young guy like that has quarterback skill, but you keep it simple for him. And he got to have a little bit of the dog in him a little bit too. Of course, no bum can go out there and do it, but I'm saying everybody anointing this dude, man. Like y'all need to stop, man. Like, come on. Come on. You know what I'm saying? He's keeping it very simple. I haven't seen him, again, this ain't no knock, but I haven't seen him do no Josh Allen type stuff or Patrick Mahomes type stuff as far as ball play. Oh, he's thrown a couple decent ones, but I'm just saying, it's not even a comparison, man. So I don't know. And maybe he will take the job. You know, somebody just said that he is. Trey Lance has been injury prone. But I'm saying it's just people overreact without really looking at the details. Again, when you watch them, go back and watch them games, because who knows if it plays out that, you know, in the next coming week in the playoffs. But when you look at some of those plays, dude's wide open, bro. Like, I'm dead serious. Somehow, San Fran getting dudes college open. College open. I mean, them tight ends be wide open. So it's a great offense, man. You know, they're a monster. They are a big time, serious monster. Big time. So just wanted to say that, man, because again, I see a lot of, I just don't understand. I just don't understand, like, some of you guys that are fans that dump on the players. Like, y'all, some people want Kenny Pickett to be bad so bad. Why? Why? This dude is the quarterback of your franchise. And guess what? He improved over the season, so the team is invested in him. So you might as well just root for this kid to be something. Because then that would be one less thing the Steelers have to do, is find a quarterback. So I am hoping that Kenny Pickett turns out to be everything that we can expect him to be. I don't know his ceiling, but I expect him to be a solid player. How about that? Because he's shown me enough stuff where he could be a solid quarterback. I'm not saying elite. I'm not even saying a 10-year franchise starter. I don't know his ceiling, but I don't get why some of y'all just want that kid to be horrible. For what? Why wouldn't you root for him? It blows my mind. All right, man, I'll take a few more, man, then we'll get up out of here, man. You know, my throat still feeling a little sore, man. And stretching my voice a little bit, as y'all probably can hear it. Is it Cyro? Cyro Kamal says, once the O-line and D-line is more solidified playoff bound, control the line of scrimmage, has been the mantra from the beginning of football time. Absolutely, man. And I don't want to just say, man, this could be a female name. It could be a unisex name, but absolutely, is it Cyro? Or is it Cairo? The way it's spelled there. You're absolutely correct. Football starts and ends in the trenches, and that's on both sides of the ball. Mark Malone, what's going on, Mark? He says he thinks Pickett works himself into a quality QB. I'm with you right there. And that's about as well as I can sum it up as well, Mark. I think Pickett has the tools to become a quality QB. He has the will, the want to, the competitive nature. He has the dog in him, it seems. He has the moxie. He doesn't seem to be overwhelmed by the moment. Kid really showed me something, man, in those games. The Raiders game and the Ravens game, man, being able to put together a winning drive. I mean, threw a winning touchdown in both of those games back to back in the big stage, on the big stage in front of the lights. So, yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. Okay, he says, I am a man from Hawaii. Okay, Hawaii in the building. Aloha. He says, and it's Ciro. All right, thank you, Ciro. Appreciate the pronunciation there. And again, by the way, for anyone who's hearing this and don't know the context, it doesn't matter if you're a man or woman. We just, we take care of our female listeners, and that's the only reason why I always like to distinguish who's who. That's all. Wave Dave, what up, Dave? He says, people don't want to let this young offense cook. They want TV dinners. They ain't trying to use the oven, huh? They cutting that microwave on, put all that radiation into it. They don't want that natural burn. I'm with you. Carlos says, some fans don't understand there are teams who have been looking for a franchise QB for 10 years, and we may be lucky to have a franchise QB back-to-back potentially. Man, Carlos, you getting one of these. That right there is an outstanding comment. Outstanding. Because that is a fact, Jack. We might have lucked up and gotten franchise QBs back to back. He's going all the way back to Big Ben. And to mess around and have found a possible, he says potentially have found a franchise QB after having that long duration of time with Big Ben. Come on, man. You can't ask for better than that. Cannot ask for better than that. All right, let me get him one or two more, man, and then we're going to get out of here, man. Going to get out of here a little early and go spend some time with the family. I know father-in-law Leonard is listening. I told you guys this before. I got one of those, popcorn machines like at the movie theater, and, every now and then him and myself, my wife, my little son, we enjoy fresh-made popcorn. So the wife said that earlier. She said, hey, popcorn night? So I'm going to go ahead and go do that, man, and just spend a little time with the family. So I'll give you guys a couple more minutes. Mr. Winningham says, I remember it took us 20 years to find Big Ben from the time that Bradshaw retired, and there was some bad quarterbacks in between. Man, I know. And during that time, I don't remember them all. I definitely remember guys like, I was young, but I remember guys like old Chump. I just call him a chump because he gave the Cowboys them interceptions. Neil O'Donnell, Chump. I remember Maddox and guys like that, but I know it was a whole lot of them in between, like Bubby Brister and I think was it Bubby Brister? Some of these dudes like that Tony and Kenyon have told me about, it definitely didn't sound like they warmed the heart at all. JR or Junior Boy, let's say Junior Boy or JR Boy, however you want it pronounced. Round of applause, appreciate the donation. He says, do you think Frank, how do you pronounce that dude's name? Is it Reich or Reich? Reich? Do you think Frank Reich as an OC? Honestly, just giving my honest opinion. Oh yeah, of course I remember Slash. No doubt. Cordell was that dude. But Cordell was before his time. Had Cordell been around this time, wow. But I'm gonna be honest about Frank. I know he was an offensive coordinator, and I know he had some success. However, coming off of his recent venture, I just don't know how I feel. And honestly, to be honest, I really don't remember when he was successful in terms of what team. Y'all might be able to tell me. Like I told y'all guys, I generally know a lot of players that are on teams, but I don't always know the coaching, per se, and follow their careers. Some people that are right in your face, obviously, like when Sean McVay came in with his offense, boom, antennas perked up, and I'm like, oh, that dude has nice offense. Kyle Shanahan, guys like that, D coordinators. I'd give credit to. I used to like Rob Ryan at one time. I liked Rex Ryan at one time, and certain guys that you can kind of see because they're like a thorn in your side. Wink, Martindale, dudes like that. But I don't always know all of the coaches, and I honestly don't remember. Okay, y'all saying he was the coordinator when Philly won the Super Bowl. Okay. Oh, that's right, because that's why that was the tie-in between him and Carson Wentz. Okay. So, obviously, it shows that he can do good offensively. Now, why things kind of fell apart at the Colts, I think he had somebody calling plays. Maybe he assisted. I don't know why they couldn't get it done there. But, okay, so, yeah, that's definitely a proven track record because now we're talking about him on a Super Bowl winning team, coaching both Wentz and Nick Foles, let's not forget, and winning a Super Bowl. However, Doug Peterson was the one who called the Philly special, right? Actually, it was Wentz. No, it was Foles. I remember whichever one of them was quarterback, and I think it was it Nick Foles? Y'all, my memory is bad with other teams. But I remember they had that clip, and he came over there. He was like, you want to run Philly? So, but I don't know. I don't know. So, yeah, like I said, I don't really know these dudes' resume, man. But, I have to take that for what it is if he was on that team. But am I not? Y'all make sure I'm correct in that. Am I correct that was Frank Reich, Doug Peterson, and that was Foles that ran the Philly special, right? Aha. See, why Dickie got me right there. Thank you, Debbie. And thank you, Howie. And, you two of you gave me the right name, and Robert Westover. See, I always say my memory is bad, but it's kind of good. And sometimes it started coming back to me. I knew one of them called it and Wentz was out. But that's a good question that why Diggy has there. How much of that was Peterson? See? Because Doug Peterson is the one that gets a lot of credit for being the offensive guy, right? So all in all, I would say, y'all see that shadow behind my arms and stuff? What's going on? My green screen bugging out. But all in all, I guess, I don't really know his resume. I don't know what he brings to the table. I really would like to see, honestly, and I'll end it with this. I would like to see some of the younger blood, more creative minds. Even a guy like Pep Hamilton, he's not an older guy, but I would say somebody like Pep Hamilton's pedigree on down as far as age, just bring some youth into it, I kind of think that's what we need. I mean, even though I'm not going to say the older guys can't get it done, look at Big Andy Reid, you know what I mean? Doug Peterson. So I'm not going to say that the older guard can't get it done, but I would like to see something a little more fresh. And if that means, an old dog learning new tricks, so be it. But that's kind of where I'm at with it. Oh man, Howie, I appreciate you too, man. I really appreciate you guys. Y'all have no idea. Y'all say y'all appreciate me, but honestly, whatever you feel like you're getting from me, I get that from you all. You know, you think about it. I got to sit up here and I just talk. It's just me. And I find ways to keep the conversation going because of you guys feeding me information and being engaging. And again, that's why I wish the phone calls would have worked tonight, man. But, you know, Blog Talk is bugging. Hopefully we can get that to work the next time. Next week, still table discussion. So I will have my partner, my man, Kenyon on. Maybe Tony will be on. But what we're basically going to talk about next week, man, is kind of how we felt overall about the season, because you guys haven't heard me and Kenyon express that together verbally. Kind of a little bit of our outlook going forward. If Kenyon is up to it, he may give you guys a few prospects to look at, but y'all know we start that process pretty much around now. You know, like usually this is when I start. When I kind of gauge what I think the Steelers need, what the biggest needs are. Usually when I start really diving into that stuff, like right around free agency. But I will maybe do that a little earlier this year. You know, Kenyon is really good. I always call him the resident scout with kind of saying, hey, Sim, you should check this guy out. And some people I, uncover myself. But Kenyon is really good with being ahead of that during the season, knowing what positions this is what we need to look at. And he'll send a list. A lot of times he'll send a list to me and Tony and say, hey, check these guys out. And then we, so maybe he'll give you a little peek into where his mind is at right now next week. But we'll just give our overall outlook on how the season unfolded, the coaching staff, if we know anything by then, what we're expecting to see in 2023, areas we like to, address, and things like that. So that's what we'll do come next week. Outside of that, man, before you guys go, I need y'all to do this for me. Just 3 simple things. Hit the like button first and foremost. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. And once you are a subscriber, click on that notification bell so you know when videos are live and rocking. But outside of that, take care of yourself, guys, even if it's just normal colds. Just my quick health PSA. Y'all know, COVID, there's supposed to be another surge of that happening, man. So just protect yourselves. Even though it does seem like it's weakening, just protect yourselves, man. There's a lot of little viruses out there. Like I said, I've got something going on here. I think it's probably more the cold weather. But there's a lot of little things, even like at my job today, like half of the team was feeling under the weather. You know what I'm saying? Like, so just protect yourselves, guys. Whatever your regimen is, try to keep that vitamin C, or just, keep that immune system strong, so we all can keep it rocking. But all right, man, catch you guys the next time. Stay safe. God bless. Good night. And like always, thank you for tuning in to Terrible Town Tuesday. Peace.